Have you ever been told a story where the way it was told was so much more interesting than what the actual story was? The new Netflix documentary, Why Did You Kill Me?, is a tale that's pretty entertaining, despite the content. After her daughter is killed, a mother uses MySpace to investigate the people she believes are responsible, resulting in reverberations for multiple families. Okay, so let's get this out of the way up front. I know I may have sounded a bit glib or snarky in the intro, but please know I'm not making light of the tragedy of somebody being killed. This story is of a grieving family who's trying to find out who killed their sister and daughter. Crystal Theobald was caught in a crossfire of some unknown assailants and unfortunately was killed. Now, while this is a tragedy, there's unfortunately not too much that is unique about her death. The incident had nothing to do with her, nor any of her doing, but she became the victim. Also, as unfortunate as this is, the story of her death isn't really the fodder for a documentary by itself. But what does make this story worthy of the documentary is all of the aftermath that involves her mom, brothers, some friends, and the police. Crystal's mom didn't believe enough was being done to catch her daughter's killer. And even though she was working with detectives to provide information, the mom, Belinda, she launches her own investigation, and that's where the meat of this story really lies. It was 2006, and MySpace was still in its heyday, and Belinda enlists the help of a niece to help her build out a social profile to gather information and then hopefully draw out the perpetrator. Now, there's an element of catfishing going on here, maybe even before catfishing was even a thing. We get a ton of interviews with Belinda, Crystal's brothers, some suspects, the lead detective, and then it's coupled with investigative footage as well as police interview footage. Now, there are some reenactments done in this, but they're performed in a really unique way. There's a scale model built of neighborhood where Crystal was murdered. So cars, trees, people, even streetlights are built out, and as the story is recounted, Belinda moves the pieces around the board to give us a unique perspective into how things happened. The camera gives us both top-down shots as well as profiles of the street and action, and it's kind of an artsy look and feel, but it was cool to watch. As the events are being recounted to us, it just gets comical and intense, all at the same time. More and more facts are revealed by Belinda, which she just relays as matter of fact. But for the rest of us, we stare with our heads tilted slightly, mouths agape, and heads shaking ever so slightly in disbelief. The level of craziness just increases at every turn. But at the same time, the level of frustration and desperation that Belinda feels because no action is being taken to catch her daughter's killer, it makes complete sense. There's one point that made me laugh out loud because of what Belinda was doing and how she was provoking some suspects. But what was really funny too is what the detective had to tell her in order for her to tone it down a bit. I was in this kind of weird conundrum because on one hand, I was in utter disbelief of Belinda's actions, but on the other, I probably would go to the same lengths if I were in her shoes. And I like that despite the quirkiness of the people that are being interviewed, I never got the sense that any of them were being ridiculed or made fun of by the documentary. Yes, there are a few that are a little odd, or at least come across as odd, but they're still treated with respect as people. They get to tell their story, and it really does become an engaging one. I actually had to watch it twice because I wasn't totally sure what to feel or even what to say about it after I watched it the first time. Now, it is a quick watch at only 83 minutes, and like I said, the story of Crystal's death, while it is sad, it's not unique or enough to build out a documentary. It's the relentless pursuit of Belinda to track down people who she believes are responsible. And the people she is pursuing, they're not gentle people. They're some hardcore gang members, so the stakes become really high. I'm also happy that this story has a resolution. Despite all of the antics and fits and starts with the investigation, answers do come. So while it's a little weird to use the word entertaining when discussing a documentary of somebody's murder, this true crime documentary was entertaining and it was engaging. It's told in a good linear way, and I especially love the way the reenactments are carried out. And then everything is further supported from the vast amount of interviews to help carry the story. There's no sex or nudity, a lot of profanity, and some violence. I do recommend checking out Why Did You Kill Me on Netflix when you get the chance. Are there any other true crime documentaries you've seen recently that are worth checking out? Let me know in the comments below. If you enjoyed this review, please give it a like. Also, don't forget to share and subscribe. I'm Chris. This is Movies and Munchies. Thanks for couching with me.